Thank you, Michelle, for starting a cooperative up here, and thank you, Danette, for organizing this, and all the TEDx organizers for bringing this together, all of us together today, because we're really I'm on an epic journey. I feel like I'm on an epic journey in my own life, and I feel like I'm with people in this room right now that all have that similar sort of goal of creating and reimagining a culture that is equitable for everyone, which is the reason why we're starting cooperatives, and we're experiencing and trying to build these tools so that we can have the things that we want without oppressing other people. So my journey had started on that track in 2004. When I went on the campaign trail, I decided to become a journalist, and I got all my press passes, and I went out on the campaign trail on the national level and learned a lot about sustainability, and learned a lot about the political system, what was right with it and what was really wrong with it, and brought that all back into and took all that information and then tried to make a change in my own life to try to actually take some direct action to be that change, instead of actually just talking about it, to really like pick up the shovel, like what Ron Finley said in his TED talk, to pick up the shovel and actually start implementing that change. And that's what I did. I started composting in my backyard in a suburban environment in San Diego, and I watched the magic of community grow from the perspective of a garden. And I saw how that gardens not only grow food, but they also grow people. They grow community. And then all of a sudden, the people that lived right next door to me that I hadn't talked to in months or didn't even know who they were coming over into my backyard and bringing their kitchen cuttings to my yard to do composting with. And that interaction, all of a sudden, is an exchange of ideas, right? Which is what this conference is really all about, the ideas, the sharing of ideas. And what is the kernel of the idea that I'm here to try to plant in your minds? And that, I think, is that time can be used, your time can be used as a currency. Instead of using money to value each other, we can use our time and our skill sets to value each other, and break away from the structure of our system that is sort of keeping us from sharing that community, keeping us from knowing our neighbors because we're constantly chasing the dollar, we're constantly having to buy this new thing or whatever. Instead of doing that, why not just share time? And that's what time banking kind of gives us. It gives us a tool to be able to connect with our neighbors, get that experience, that feeling of doing something good that we all feel when we're volunteering or when we're doing our civic duty, when we're trying to make that change, trying to be the people that we want to be, and create a positive environment, and also track that and actually get that hour in a system where we could take that hour and then use it like a dollar. It's called a time dollar. So time banking is basically a tool that we can use for that. An example would be, let's see, for instance, I'm a gardener, right? Who has gardens? Everybody has gardens, so I'm going to be really busy. Who does any kind of like healing work, like a massage therapist, or there's a couple of massage therapists here. So if I log into the time bank and then I put an offer saying I could do some weeding in your garden and spend a couple of hours in your garden, and then, oh man, you know what, while I was weeding your garden, I got an ache in my back, I need a massage, and then you put an offer saying that you could give me a massage, then boom, boom, we're working together. We're creating value, and we're keeping it local, and we're sharing, and then we all feel good about that, right? And the other sort of side thing about that, the deeper root of that is that we are reinvigorating our local community, and it's a way for us to not buy into the system that is so disconnected from our environment that it's not representative of what we really want. So that's kind of the idea. To put it into practice requires participation. And along this epic journey that I was telling you about that I'm going through in my own life, and I think a lot of you are going through in your lives, is my experience with the Occupy movement. I spent the better part of 2011 and 2012 basically traveling the country as an activist, experiencing a huge explosion in the activist culture. And for the good and the bad of it, I just kind of wanted, again, I'm about direct action, and I'm about experiencing it, getting that shovel and really getting into the dirt and finding out what's really going on. And what I took away from that experience is that we all inherently have within us the ability to be able to really quickly build these structures, these community structures that sort of self-organize and organically fall into categories where we're mutual aid, we're helping each other out. I have a skill set that I want to share, you have a skill set that you want to share, and oftentimes the currency gets in the way of that. Instead of sharing it on equal terms, we have to put a value on it, and that value kind of creates this hierarchy, and then all of these questions about whose time is more valuable and and all of these things. But when we enter the commons, which is what Occupy really actually asked us to do, right? To take back our common space, our free space, our public space. And when those people came together in that free environment, everything became equal. For a very small period of time, everybody was sharing their skills and sharing the new ideas and really exchanging what they had to offer in an environment that didn't have currency attached to it. And that was a beautiful experience. And the second iteration of that, in my opinion, was what happened in New York City during the hurricane, because all of those activists in Wall Street shifted their aim to helping in a catastrophic event, a natural, a climate changing event, right? What did they do? They realized that mutual aid is much quicker and much more reliable when we're doing it neighbor to neighbor, right? In an emergency situation, again, what happens is we go flat. The doctor's not worried about his time and his currency value. The janitors, they're all just worried about getting through the catastrophe, right? So it flattens everything, and all of a sudden what happens? Community happens. So what if time banking gives us the opportunity to build those community networks, those connections, without having to have those big overarching catastrophes? Allison brought up a point just before I came up here about how we all experiencing these mini catastrophes in our own lives. It doesn't have to be a global catastrophe. We all have catastrophes, many little catastrophes in our lives. So time banking could answer those without having to use currency, without having to use the dollar. And I would like you to participate in that. I need your help. We all need to work together. That's why we're building these structures, we're building these cooperatives, we're trying to redefine the urban environment. And in order to do that, I would really urge you to take action today to sign up for the local time bank. It's ventura.timebanks.org. We have someone here that can help you with that after this talk. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me. I would like to talk to every one of you on an individual level. I could talk all day long about this, and I'm being asked to wrap this up. So, and yeah, I really look forward to working with you and for you, and taking part in this epic journey to redefine our communities. Thank you.